Spawn Ride. Nice. Oh, wow. Chittering Harvester hits. Because it's a Spawn Ride, they're gonna make a copy of it. Today on Commander Replay, we check out Teysa Envoy of Ghosts and see if we can win the game playing a little bit of Black-White Control. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, are you looking to get some card alters done? If so, be sure to check out RevelinsLight.com because they do absolutely amazing work, including my most favorite Aurelia altar. RevelinsLight.com, link is in the description below. Welcome back everyone, playing some Teysa Envoy of Ghosts today. And today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Love Override. Take a look at this opening hand. We've got 3 lands, colors are a little awkward. If we had a second black source, Underworld Connections looks alright. Gonna be a while before we can get to Necro. Take a peek over at the deck list real quick. What does our mana base look like? A lot of basics, I think we can try it. It's not my favorite, but we'll try and keep. Ideally, we'll find a second black source to get this Underworld Connections going kind of soon. So let's take a look at our commander. It's Teysa Envoy of Ghost, 7 mana for a 4/4. Vigilance, protection from creatures. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy it, and then create a 1/1 black and white spirit creature token with flying. Kind of a cool card, but doesn't show up that much because of its casting cost, but does cool things. One that I've always been kind of interested in, I tend to like bigger commanders. I know a lot of people love their like 4 mana value commander, draw all the cards type stuff, but to me, this is the type of thing, like especially a few years back, that I'd be totally into. It's a little bit expensive, but does really cool things, so... Anyway, we'll see what kind of deck they've got lined up for us today. I took a peek through it beforehand. Just kind of looked like black-white good stuff. We've got some big finishing spells at the top. Mana curve seems to be balanced fairly well, so I like that. And we do draw into one of our big things. That's a Butcher of Malakir. Pretty good card. Anyway, let's start with the Caves of Koilos, just in case we run into, like, I don't know, a second black source and, like, something weird. I don't know what that situation would be, but let's get the double mana going, and then we'll work on the basics. Opponent's going to crack their Bad River. This is a cycle of lands that I do like a lot. If you have dual lands and shock lands, but are not committed or don't have the funds to go out and buy a ton of fetch lands, these will find your shocks and your duals and put them into play. They're a little bit slow. They're about the same as a tap land, but they don't have any life loss attached to them, and sometimes that does matter. But I use plenty of these in paper because I've had duels since back in the day, since before they were $1 million each, and I did not get fetches while they were cheap. I've only got a couple, so I do use these Mirage fetch lands quite a bit if I know that I've got a dual land or two, plus a shock land or two for the deck. They do help a lot with that, so yeah. Here comes a Beast Whisperer for opponent. Yeah, those are pretty good. Also, there's a Soul Ring over there. We're already behind. Gotta love it. Play a land. Anything to do on 2? Nope. Pass the turn. Yeah, maybe we could have mulliganed to something faster. Maybe that's a thing that we could have done. At the very least, I guess we can get this Profane Procession in. Hopefully we'll run into some lands. We at least get the 5 mana. Hopefully exile that thing. Hopefully exile Gargos at some point. Boneyard Lurker coming into play. It's a 4/4. Hope for a Swamp off the top. Swamp off the top means that we can get this Underworld Connections going. And that seems like a place that we want to be, so. Asceticism for opponent. Ugh. Shuts off our spot removal. Gonna swing into us for 2 with the Beast Whisper. Yep. 38 we go. There's the Swamp. Sweet. Alright, not out of it just yet. Underworld Connections. Let's put it on... What are we putting it on? I feel like we have less white cards in hand, so we'll put it on the Plains. Someone play an Urborg? Someone played an Urborg. We have a Necropotence in hand, but we're at 7 cards. So Necropotence, when you're at 7 cards, doesn't seem the best. Okay, then. Completely missed that Urborg, so our black mana is good for now. That is a nice thing. KO gonna Vampiric Tutor at the end step. Sure. Let's take a peek at see how many board wipes are in this deck, because I think we're gonna be needing them. Anguish of Making, Spot Removal, Ghostly Prison wouldn't be terrible. Wrath of God, there's one. No Mercy. Not quite a board wipe, but it's a deterrent. Deterrents are nice. Austere Command, Merciless Eviction, Decree of Pain. So we got about 4 or so, give or take, with a decent amount of spot removal. Unfortunately, Asceticism is a problem for us. Opponent's going to mutate a Dreamtail Heron onto their Boneyard Lurker. They get back their Bad River. They play their Bad River. Nice play. And when this mutates, they get to draw a card. So they've drawn a card and Eternal Witness the card back. Not too bad. They're going to swing over to Mockfire, who, yeah, Gargos is really strong. Like, you're like, oh, it's going to be a cute Hydra deck. No, it's not actually that cute. It's actually, like, pretty deadly. They've got a Soul Ring to boot and an Asceticism, so... Ooh, and there's a Gaia's Cradle. So Mana Ramp and Creature Protection, those are all really good. Also got Castle Garenbrig, so, like, they've got lands that we want to blow up. I don't know that this deck has that much land destruction in it. Just unfortunate. A card that I saw earlier today for the first time, new card, is Lithoform Blight, which removes abilities from lands, which I think is kind of cool. Definitely interested to try that out at some point. Haven't seen it in action yet, but would definitely be good against the Castle and the Gaia's Cradle. And there's Gargos into play. Beast Whisperer into Otrimi, and we'll talk about our opponents after our turn here in a moment. Brings us back to our turn. That's a D-Spark. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, what are we doing? Start by playing the land. Yeah, we need to draw the card. We can't miss land drop, so start there. We draw a Blood Gift Demon. Not exactly what I was looking for. Do we go Profane Procession next? Or do we just go for Necro? We need to hit our next land drop. So, Necro gives us... No, it doesn't give us that great of a chance. I'm going to go Profane Procession. I'm not looking to cut off our natural draw yet. And we'll have 2 draws next turn. But I would really like to hit a land. Oh, that's a Smothering Tithe. That is also a worthy D-Spark target. But at least Smothering Tithe should kind of do a removal check from our opponents. And hopefully get rid of something over there and leave our enchantments alone, is what I'm hoping for. Opponent gets a treasure. Let's take a look at what our opponents are playing today, by the way. So first up is Chaotix 2075 playing Negan the Cold-Blooded. Interesting that I filmed with a different Negan opponent earlier today. But yep, it's the very controversial Walking Dead cards. Negan, from what I've seen, pretty good so far. When opponents' creatures die, you get treasure tokens, and when it enters the battlefield, you and an opponent each choose a creature secretly, and then they get revealed, and those players sacrifice those creatures. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Definitely more of a value engine type thing with killing opponent stuff can give you a lot of mana. It doesn't give you a lot of killing power necessarily, but you're in Mardu. Plenty of other ways to close the game out. Easily do some aristocrat stuff if you want to do some big spells. Just depends on what you're into. Next up, we have Fish Said Fish piloting Otrimi the Ever Playful, and they mutate their commander in right now, so they're going to get some triggers. They get to draw a card. They get to return a card from their graveyard to their hand. It's going to be the Bad River again. It's working out pretty good. And Otrimi itself says, when this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with mutate from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty interesting. Pretty fair as far as like Sultai things are considered, but it's kind of cool. If you want to be doing the mutate thing, Otrimi is certainly an option to do that. And it does have flying in this moment. So KO takes a hit for 6. 6 commander goes down to 32. And then finally, we've got Mockfire piloting Gargos Vicious Watcher. This is the one that scares me the most at the table, because this one can just get out of hand quickly. They've already got, like, the mana pieces in play with Gaia's Cradle and Castle Garenbrig, plus a Soul Ring, so they're, like, making way more mana than they should be at this point, and that's scary. And soon there'll be a flood of Hydras onto the board, which won't be great either. Probably starting right about now. Yep, there's 6 mana out of the castle. Hungering Hydra, X4. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. When it's dealt damage, put that many counters on it. Oy. There's a Protean Hydra, X4, yep. If damage will be dealt to it, remove that many counters. Whenever a counter is removed from it, at the beginning of the next end step, put 2 counters on it. So it gets bigger for when you deal damage to it. Yep, those are all pretty serious. Wouldn't mind a board wipe very, very soon. Preferably a Wrath of God to get around the Regenerate on Asceticism. Or we could think about... We need mana. The problem right now is that we're not ramping at all, and people are starting to ramp pretty hard. And a Primordial Hydra, X7. Oh boy. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of counters on it. Trample if it has 10 or more. Okay, we're going to take a poke here. Gargos and Beast Whisperer his way. This is a shot for 10. KO's going to utter end the Asceticism. That's a really good call. Opponent's going to regenerate the Gargos. This exile? Yeah, that's an exile. So Asceticism down. That's a play that needed to happen. KO goes down to 22. 8 commander. Felt that a little bit. Brings back to our turn. There's the swamp we need. KO's going to get a treasure. Not paying. Play the swamp. What does our turn look like right here? I'd like to draw a card, theoretically, but maybe we also need to exile something with Profane Procession. Yeah, we're probably on exile stuff with Profane Procession. Leave up D-Spark, leave up the Underworld connections. I think that's where we're at. Pass the turn. Play a little bit of control right here. Got some instant speed stuff that we can use. If we hit Fish's stack, I think we exile 3 things, which is kind of cool. But as nice as that would be from the value standpoint, the Hydras are really scary. KO says his deck is chock full of removal, after asking, did anyone bring removal? So that's good news. That's good news. At the very least, we should probably take Gargos out of play if KO doesn't do that. Negan coming into play. This should be interesting. He's going to choose Mock, so he wants to get rid of this Otrimi stack, I think. I would have gone about that differently. I probably would have chose us and picked apart 2 things from Mock, is what I personally would have done. Oh, never mind. It says that player controls. I didn't realize that. So the player that you choose, you also have to sacrifice their creatures. So it's not quite Volcanic Offering, but I wish it were. So we get Gargos and Primordial Hydra. Nice. So you can kind of play a little bit of mind games with Negan. That's kind of cool. And he will get 2 treasures out of the deal, so KO making mana. You know, all that being the case, I might shoot the Smothering Tithe now. People making too much mana early is a big problem. It's a big, big problem. Spell Tithe Enforcer. Ew. Well, that being the case, let's despark this Smothering Tithe right now. Spell Tithe Enforcer is probably actually a little bit good for us given the green player's board state. Their ability to make a lot of mana. This will slow them down, where we're kind of on 1 big card a turn still, where they're trying to make multiple plays a turn. So I think Spell Tithe Enforcer is going to help us by not having other players just run away with the game. Fish sacrificing the Bad River for the 3rd time, I think. A lot of value right there. A lot of value. Otrimi over to the Hydras. Yeah. I'm going to draw a card right now just so I don't forget. It's an Ogre Slumlord. Opponent gets back, I didn't see what. Returns Chittering Harvester. Okay. Plays a Chittering Harvester. This is the one that says, whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. This is pretty good right here. They're going to get some good stuff. Although that will feed KO a bunch of tokens. Don't love that. But we do need to get this board cleaned up a little bit. And that is Mutate Trigger, so 3 more Mutate Triggers. Gonna return the Bad River again. Wow, the value. The value. Each opponent's gonna sacrifice a creature. We have no creatures, so yeah, I'm on board for that. And then when this creature mutates, return target permanent to its owner's hand. Yep, we already got that one. So Primordial Hydra going down. Still got a Protean Hydra to deal with, though, and that one's pretty good. Got some treasure tokens incoming. So Gargos coming back to play. Beast Whisperer is going to trigger, and Spell Tithe Enforcer. You know, I may have targeted the Beast Whisperer with that Negan when it came in. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, this is the type of thing that, it's going to generate a lot of value. The other ones will just die if someone casts a board wipe, where this kind of does the damage beforehand, so was something I was considering. They're still at 6 cards, so that's a thing. But I think Spell Tithe Enforcer probably going to shut them off from being able to cast more Hydras this turn, which I like. I don't know, are we on the Profane Procession turn? Are we just going to start exiling stuff? Protean Hydra going on the attack. The question I have is, how are we going to get enough mana to cast all the 5 drops in our hand? We got a lot of mana stuff to deal with. 2 damage coming our way off the Beast Whisperer. Nothing doing with that right now, so just going to have to take it. Kind of drawn the more expensive portion of our deck. Is not the most ideal, but we do have cards that are lower on the curve. This is about what the curve of my Angel deck looks like at the early half. What is that? That's 23 cards at 2 and 3 mana. Yeah, that's about right. Ooh, opponent's got to Prey Upon. All right. This is going to get interesting. So they're going to Prey Upon, although is that going to get countered by the Spell Tithe Enforcer? No. They paid? I think they paid. Okay. No, it did not get countered. So Fish's commander goes down, Otrimi back to the command zone, and they lose that big stack of stuff. Then Prey Upon's going to kill the Spell Tithe Enforcer, and that's going to trigger the Protean Hydra, so that's going to get some counters, and it's going to get bigger. Although it does drop down to a 1-1 after the fight, but it's going to get huge when they untap with it. It's not great. It's not great. Yep, there's those counters. It's a 7-7. Yep. Come on, land. Land or ramp? There's a land. All right, play the land. I mean, I think the thing that makes the most sense is just, draw a card, exile something. I think that's where we're at. I would love to, start having a board presence, but I don't know, maybe we Necro this turn. How much damage do we think the Hydras can pump out? A lot. We think they can pump out a lot. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Pass. Playing the control game. Negan coming back. Yep, sounds good to me. Choosing Mock once again. See if we can hit 2 more creatures this time. We do. Gargos stays in play, though. Might exile the Gargos right here. Beast Whisperer and Protean Hydra going down. Nice. And we can just clean up the Gargos with Profane Procession now. Yeah. All right. All right. KO draws a card with Bonder's Enclave. I got to use that card a little bit more. It's a pretty cool card. The mana cost is way cheaper than like Arch of Oriska, but Arch of Oriska has no conditions, so just depends on what your deck is doing. I do like Voltron, so as long as things aren't going terribly, I should have a creature with power 4 or greater. Nature's lower for fish, sure. Woodland Bellower coming in, sure. Haven't seen this one in a while, honestly. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a non-legendary green creature with converted mana cost 3 or less, put it onto the battlefield. Used to see it a lot more, but, you know, find target Eternal Witness. Spawn Ride! Nice. Nice. I approve this message. Nice. Fish's end step, we're going to draw a card and exile with the Profane Procession. So let's get Gargos out of here. No one wants that. That is way too much cost reduction on one creature. Gargos into exile. Well, they'll probably can send it to the command zone, but how does that work? Does that count 1 towards my exile count to flip this thing, or do I still need to exile 3 more that actually go into exile? Unknown. Unknown. We will draw a card. It's a land. All right. Got that next land drop set up. Emerald Medallion. Yeah, those are good. Those are good. There's a Ronas Monument. More cost reduction. Yep. So going on the rebuild turn. And a Kodama's Reach. Very big rebuild turn. Ooh, Boots. Boots are cool. Get our land into play. We have 7 mana total. Oh, I really want to find some mana ramp. Maybe we'll go, yeah, let's go Blood Gift Demon and Swiftfoot Boots. I think that's where we are this turn. Hope our stuff sticks. Want to get some kind of board presence going here. Play the Swiftfoot Boots. Can't equip them. I think Blood Gift Demon is nice in that, like, it's not the most scary thing that you can play, but it does something. It's medium body, flying if we need to attack, and we can keep drawing more cards, which all very solid, but, you know, when Gargos is in play, I don't think Blood Gift Demon's the target. Some stuff going on here, too. If you get multiple spawn rides going, those can be scary. Negan also does things, so. Gadrock the Crown Scourge. Yeah. This is one that I've been looking at testing out. Can't attack unless you have 4 or more artifacts, so yeah, that makes sense in that deck since you should be making a lot of treasures. And it says at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died. Okay, we're going to draw a card right here. Yeah. I get it. Makes sense. Aggressively costed. 5/4 flyer. The thing that I like, decent likelihood Bloodgift's going to survive back to our turn now. KO is the one that's got a lot of removal happening. I'm not expecting too much heartache from Otrimi, unless some weirdness happens where like they're able to get Gargos and play a spell, which they might be able to do. Another Prey Upon type of thing. They might fight the Bloodgift Demon, but I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. Golgari Findbroker enters the battlefield. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. They've got a few. Bad River? More Bad River? There's a couple creatures in there too. Those might make sense. Going for the Chittering Harvester. Ooh, okay, maybe not. Maybe it's not going to make it back to our turn. 6, and I think they've got exactly enough. Yep, here it comes. Mutated onto the Spawn Writhe. Yep, now we have to sacrifice. I was worried about that. Okay. That's going to change my plans a little bit, I think. Probably going to go with this Profane Procession then. Just keep riding this thing. Sacrifice our Bloodgift Demon. Negan gets sacrificed. Going to make some treasures out of the deal, too. Fish is going to swing at us with the Chittering Harvester. Yep. And the Woodland Bellower into Gargos. Chittering Harvester hits. Because it's a Spawn Writhe, they're going to make a copy of it. Yeah. It's a copy of the whole stack. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Okie dokie. More removal needed. Doesn't make any sense for us to play creatures at this time. So I think we're on the Profane Procession plan. Does deck have a black market? I really want a black market right now. Oh, no black market. That's probably something I would add to this deck, given that it's a very controlling, kind of slow deck. Gargos, back to play. Yep. They could squeeze off a second Hydra in here, if they have one. They do. Hydra Broodmaster. And it's going to give 2/2 to Gargos, but does not have haste currently. There's an Exsanguinate. That is another late game play. We've got way too many late game plays. Draw a card with Underworld connections. There's the land. Play the land. I'm going to play Necro right here. I think it's Necro time. Oh, if we play Necro, we're one short of Profane. I think we make an investment for the future. Let's play Necro. We need to draw past all this big clunky stuff that's in our hand. We need, like, the small things that allow us to get to the big things. So, start putting some life into Necro. I Necroed for 5. So that'll put us up to 10 cards. We'll discard 3. Next turn, we're probably going to have to look at a Grey Merchant. There's Bantu's Monument. Oh, I would love to get that into play this turn. There's lands. Mindstone. There's the ramp. There's the Thran Dynamo. So we finally found the ramp. What can we part with? All the ramp bunched up in one spot, just the way you like it. What's bad, too, is that, like, we still kind of need a board wipe in all of this. Or we need someone like, maybe KO will lay one down because there's a lot of stuff happening, but someone's going to have to clear the creatures out because if they just turn all the creatures at us, that's a real problem. Okay, discard one land, discard Rebuff the Wicked, and discard Grey Merchant. We're going to need the life. Bantu's going to need the life. Ogre Slumlord plus Butcher of Malakir seems pretty good. Maybe Exsanguinate, because I just don't think we're going to be in a place to, like, tap out and go for that kind of play. Like, Grey Merchant will do roughly the same thing, but on less mana, which is important right now. Thoughts on Rebuff the Wicked. You should run Faith Shield instead. Faith Shield is all the things you want Rebuff the Wicked to be, but Rebuff the Wicked is not. So one of the big things you'll see that comes up is, like, people play Reclamation Sage a lot. Rebuff the Wicked doesn't stop that or any ability. Faith Shield does. And Faith Shield also protects you against burn spells. Like, if someone plays a Blasphemous Act, it can make your stuff unblockable if you protect it from the right color. So, yeah, Faith Shield, I found, is the card that everyone wants Rebuff the Wicked to be, but is not. Come on, KO, start dropping some removal. Gonna need it if we want to survive. We need, like, a board wipe, because we also need, like, a setup turn to play all of our ramp spells that we finally drew into. Here comes Negan. More removal. More removal. Negan coming in. Gonna choose fish this time. See how this goes. A lot of targets over here. Ooh, they got two. Still one Chittering Harvester left, though. And that's actually good, because that'll force other opponents to sacrifice. Gadrock now a 5/4 flyer. Gadrock into fish. Someone mentioned in the chat of this game that Negan is safer in play, because once it's in play, it's mostly a 4/3, although it does make a lot of mana, so, you know, careful with that. Careful with that. A board wipe will give them tons of treasure tokens, but you know what's kind of weird about that is that if someone plays a board wipe, you probably easily have the mana to recast Negan. Now, I guess this is sacrifice, so I guess it's only sacrifice. Yeah, if you destroy everything, then it won't matter, so I guess that's fair. Gadrock makes a bunch of treasure tokens. Yep. If everything holds up this turn, I think this is going to be the Grey Merchant turn. If we lose a bunch of stuff before we untap, I might change my mind on that, but for the time being. Otrimi coming into play. Gonna mutate onto the Chittering Harvester. Yep. So each opponent gonna be sacrificing. Lots of control this game. Lots of control. Each opponent sacrifices. Negan makes some treasures. Gargos goes down again. Harvester into KO. Woodland Bellower into us. No blocks. KO at 16, 10 commander. Chittering Harvester is going to trigger and do a bunch of stuff. We're at 17. I'm a little bit nervous about the Hydras, but opponent's going to get back their Dreamtail Heron. Okay. Spawn Writhe trigger. So now there's another copy of that stack onto the battlefield. Yep. Hard to get rid of. It is hard to get rid of. Dreamtail Heron, going to mutate that in on this stack over here. Flying is not great, honestly. Each player's going to sacrifice a creature again. Does it even make sense to play creatures? And they're going to draw a card. KO has so much mana, 7 treasure tokens, only 3 cards in hand. But he can keep just casting his commander, you know, taking out a thing that way, and then he can draw a card, so he's got action. Gargos back to play. Wouldn't mind seeing a fight spell right here, something to take down one of these stacks of creatures would be good. Tribelder into play. Gonna pump Ronas. Again, no haste. Gives them sack fodder, that is something, but liable to be a lot of these floating around. All right, brings it back to our turn. Finally going to get some mana ramp going, have the big setup turn. I hope this does not go face first into like an austere command or something. That would be terrible. So here we go. Play Thran Dynamo. Play Mindstone. Play Bantu's Monument. Play Grey Merchant of Asphodel so we don't die to things. That'll trigger Bantu's Monument one time. Devotion to Black will be 6. Dinged each opponent pretty hard right there. Ooh, that brings us up to 42. That's a good place to be. Hopefully we didn't attract too much attention to ourselves, but then we're going to Necro for a whole bunch. I just Necroed for 8. And now we just hope to survive back to our turn. Ethereal Absolution. Cool card. Don't foresee us having the mana to use it, though. Mana Ramp, Anguished Unmaking. Swamp. Decree of Pain, that's a good card. We'll just discard 3 lands since we have 4 in hand. Need to hope that opponents don't have enough damage to kill us. Also hope that KO doesn't want to remove our blocker. Everyone wants to gang up on us this round, which I don't love. Kalitosh, Trader of Get coming into play. That's a real magic card. Now whenever things die, they'll be getting 2/2s, and they'll get exiled. Here comes Negan. Yep. Chooses us. Yep, down goes our blocker. Now the question is, do opponents have enough damage to take us out before we untap? Not that we're necessarily going to win when we untap, but we are going to wipe the board with this Decree of Pain and probably drag the game on for quite a while longer. Oh, one thing, too, we could start thinking about the Profane Procession activation, although there's just a lot of things on board, so it probably has to be Decree. Decree and Ethereal no, I was thinking like Decree, Ethereal Absolution, Ogre Slumlord gives us a lot of 1/1s that then become 2/2s, and that's kind of cool, but that is also a lot of mana. That's going to be 8 mana plus 4 with the cost reduction on that. Well, we have exactly enough for Decree of Pain and Ogre Slumlord, but maybe we just Decree first and see what we draw. Yep, big old punch coming our way. Gonna feel this. Pray for no counterspells. Hopefully they tap out. Although I guess this will probably kill the Hydras, so I guess that's good for us. Many things about to get blown up right here. I guess all the Spawn Ride things are tokens also, so those won't get us additional 1/1. So yeah, I think it's just going to be Decree of Pain. See what we draw, then play it from there. Opponent getting all of their value with their stacks over there. Yup. Surprisingly, Gargos still alive. Wasn't expecting that. Nope, here comes another Chittering Harvester. But opponent does have a Tribelder that they can sacrifice. Okay, that triggers, what, 2 times? Oh my. Okay. No Gargos. Mock upset that Fish is taking out the damage that he was going to send into me. Yep. Exactly what I was hoping for. Since opponent had 2 sacrifice triggers on the stack, they could have just gone for a land with Tribelder. That's a small thing, but occasionally those 1 lands will get you. Somehow we end up with a 2/2. Didn't see how that happened. And now it's gone. That may have been a visual bug. Opponent's going to mutate a Boneyard Lurker onto this Chittering Harvester. Oh my. Look at all the text on here. Can't even read it. I see Flying and Trample. And then a whole bunch of triggered abilities. 4 triggers on the stack. Sacrificing more creatures, mutating more stuff, getting back the Spawn Writhe. This is what you call a control fest. You know what we got to be careful of? We got to be careful of giving Kalitas a million 2/2s. May need to play the Ethereal Absolution just to shrink them down to size. Or we could have Anguished Unmaking first, but Anguished Unmaking is a pretty good piece of removal. Don't know that I want to cash that in just yet. Is this non-token? Non-token. That's a token. That's a token. That's a token. That one is not a token. So Fish has 1, 2, looks like 3 non-tokens. Okay, looks like it's just the 3 for now. Maybe a 4th when Gargos shows up. Frantic Search. You know, if we had kept the Exsanguinate, we could probably just Exsanguinate for the win. Fish drops in an Anvil of Bogarden. Players have no maximum hand size. Oh, that's good for us. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, then discards a card. What does this say? Skip your draw step. Okie dokie. So I think that first effect just doesn't happen, or the second effect, rather. We skip the step entirely. But the no max hand size is relevant because of this Decree of Pain. No action from Mock. 1 card in hand. Doesn't look like they can recast Gargos any longer. It's good news for us, or they're just choosing to not recast it because there's literally no reason to with the amount of removal that's been going on. Okay, brings it back to our turn. Yeah, we skipped the whole thing entirely. Play the Swamp. Actually, we'll hold off on the Swamp just 1 second. Cast Decree of Pain. A lot of black cards in hand, so I'm going to use the Plains for black mana. Oh no, it's a Swan Song. Oh, we're probably going to die. Oh, that's so much mana to lose. Oh, God. Okay. Play a... Well, we get a bird. Bird's block. Play a Swamp. What are we doing? Playing creatures doesn't make that much sense. I don't feel like. Exiling stuff probably makes more sense. We're going to go Everflowing Chalice X1. And probably think about exiling something. Going to Necro ourselves back up. That's 7. We'll go to 8. How big are these things? These are all 4/6s? Ugh. Go to the end step. Draw 4. Viscer's... Ooh, Dawn Charm, you say? Dawn Charm, you say? Okay. What are we getting rid of? Viscera Seer. Viscera Seer is something we can cast cheaply, which is like... That's something. That is something. What are we getting rid of? Oh, right, no max hand size. We do not have to Oh, I should have went more on the Necro. Well, we got to be careful, because it's like delicate balancing act between number of cards and our life total, which is dwindling. But Dawn Charm is huge. So now I'm thinking maybe like... Well, we'll see how they attack. If Fish just sends everything, then we have to Dawn Charm. If not, then we might be able to like exile 1 and then draw a card or something like that. Sun Titan for Chaotix. What can he get? He can get Vadrock back. It's pretty cool. Mayhem Devil can also get that. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, deals 1 damage to any target. It's not awful. Yep, gonna go for that. His commander's in the graveyard, which is interesting. Tells me that he's probably got something to bring it back. Oh, hey now. Mayhem Devil gives you triggers for sacrificing tokens, and he seems to be targeting fish in this moment. Okay, okay. Fish down to 9. Sacks another one. Fish down to 8. Ha ha! That's a Shieldred. Oh my. Oh my. KO gonna swing over to Gargos. This does have lifelink, so he's at 7. Gaining 3 life back will be a really good idea. Shieldred trigger. Eats the elf. Elf gets exiled. Mayhem Devil trigger. At fish. Anvil of Bogarden trigger. So I think, like, fish has to send everything at KO. Like, I think you just send them all, right? Maybe you leave a blocker or two, but that is a Brokos coming into play. Each opponent's going to sacrifice a creature. Oh, that's going to be some Mayhem Devil triggers. Sacrifice a bird. Mayhem Devil triggers, both a fish. Ooh, hey now. Woodland Bellower. Unblockable. Rogue's Passage. Rogue's Passage, such a good card. Everything at KO. Yeah, with the Mayhem Devil, you pretty much have to. This should work out beautifully. Blocks with a Sun Titan. They'll trade. Blocks with a Shieldred. Shieldred will kill that. This will take down KO, though. That one's got flying. KO goes down, -4. Bunch of Chittering Harvester triggers. Bringing back Brokos. Yep. So right now we just need to play 5 creatures. We have 3 in hand. It's probably going to be not the easiest to get the last couple here, but Farseek for fish. Anvil of Bogarden trigger for Gargos. Oh, you know what we can do? We can do like Viscera Seer, Ogre Slumlord, Butcher of Malik here. Mana Crypt in for opponent. Looks like land was their last card. Recast Gargos for a ton of mana. Sure. I've been thinking about what I want to do here at the end step, and I think it's going to be Profane Procession. So I want to exile the non-token one, which is this one. I've been kind of weighing that versus drawing a card. I feel like this is the better play based on what I'm planning to do on our turn. And now we exiled 2 cards under there, so that's good news. Potentially we could flip it. Oh, that's a thing. Brings back to our turn, no draw because of Necro. Play the Swamp. Let's get Viscera Seer. Triggers Bantu's Monument. Next thing to do is let's get the Signet into play. Get Ogre Slumlord. Bantu's Monument trigger. Play Butcher of Malik here. Trigger Bantu's Monument. And that leaves us enough to either have Dawn Charm or Anguished Unmaking. And with all that being the case, let's put Boots on the... Oh, you know what we can do? We just put Boots on Butcher of Malik here. There we go. Boots on Butcher of Malik here. Almost missed that. Almost missed that. Been thinking about all these other plays, about how to use this Profane Procession, all that stuff. Almost missed it. Swing into fish. Hopefully none of these are flying. Oh, that one's flying. Well, we can regenerate it, but then that causes other problems. Yeah, I missed that. Okay. Okay. Crap. Well, that's bad. Let's see. So if they... This one will kill... No, that won't kill that. It's only got 5 power versus 6. But if we shot it, what would happen? Then our Butcher survives... Well, that's disappointing. I think we just let Butcher go and then sit on Dawn Charm. So each opponent will sacrifice a creature. We're going to get some rats. Yeah, maybe this will work out. Yeah, because now we get more rats. Okay. Yeah, that seems like it was fine. Use the ability. There's a rat. Use the ability. Couple rats. Okay. Okay, that worked out. Refill with Necro. Went for 7 cards. That'll put us to 10 in hand. No max hand size. Pass like that. There's a Profane command. Target player loses X life. That seems handy. Seems real handy. We can cast 2 more creatures on our turn, and that would be enough for fish. And then we just Profane command to finish it, plus any attacks. Otrimi coming back to play, yep. Each opponent's got to sacrifice a creature. Bummer. Sacrifice a rat. Oh yeah, they're going to try to Rogue's Passage the Woodland Bellower. Sure, yeah. Do what you got to do. We are going to be Dawn Charming. Everything our way. Dawn Charm time. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. Dawn Charm so good. And we'll draw a card. It's a Fellwar Stone. Finally finding the mana ramp. Soul Ring into play for fish. Mana Crypt flip for opponent. Opponent loses flip down to 6. Yeah, they're in easy range now. Anvil trigger. Hideaway land. Gargos back to play for the who knows how many time. Feels bad. Feels bad when you're the creature deck lining up against all the control decks. Brings it back to our turn. Let's shoot Mock in the face. Bring back our Butcher of Malik here. X7 should be good. Mock goes down. And we don't have to milk it. I think we just go to combat. Right here. Send in those 2. Whoo, got there. Wow. I had my doubts for quite a while in this game. We were not producing the mana that we needed to be producing for this deck to be able to work for a good portion of the game. And it wasn't until we kind of hit that big turn Necropotence, hell of a card. Drew us a lot of cards. The life gain off of where to go. I think it got exiled. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, also a really big deal. I think we gained 18. Most of which we've probably pumped back into this Necro. So yeah. Yeah, powerful card's good. This Profane Procession was cool, but we never really had the mana to be able to do exactly as much as we wanted to with it. So that was all a thing. Taking a look at this deck, a couple things I would change. We talked about Rebuff the Wicked. If this is something that you're looking for, go Faith Shield instead. This is target permanent you control gains protection from the color of your choice. So that's going to protect you against spells, abilities, burn spells, can make your things unblockable if that matters. So just a really good card. It's everything you want Rebuff the Wicked to be. As far as other stuff that I saw, I think this deck wants a black market big time. It's a little bit slow, but once things start dying and you get counters on it, you need that extra mana in this deck. This deck is just so slow and so mana hungry that, yeah, you need to be able to produce large amounts of mana. We've got this Limdul the Necromancer in here. Seems really cool, but also in that category of even more mana intense. So I'd probably cut this, honestly. I think it's a cool card. If I were going to play it, I'd probably build a deck around it because you can better anticipate for it that way. Because it's just a big mana play. I mean, Shieldred give you more or less the same thing but better. So, I'd cut that. I don't know that Tithe Drinker is necessarily correct in this deck. It's got Lifelink, it's got Extort. Those are cool abilities. But it is a creature that's just going to kind of die to stuff quickly. So, I feel like it wants more creature support to really kind of be in there. Yeah, I would cut Tithe Drinker. Another thing I saw too was this Illumination. So I get it, it gains life, but it has a timing problem. So it's a counterspell for artifacts and enchantments. All counterspells have the timing problem of you need to have the mana and the card when they are casting the card. A lot of artifacts and enchantments come down early, so I'd actually skip that. I would go Heliod's Intervention. This is either really flexible artifact and enchantment removal or a ton of life gain if you need a lot of life gain. So I would definitely use that instead. Or if you want to stay in the 2-mana thing, Disenchant, also totally cool. I want to take a peek at the ramp in this deck and just see if it's the case of either it needs more or if we just didn't draw it and we probably should have mulliganed our opening hand. Okay, 12 pieces of ramp before I added the black market, which tells me we probably just needed to mulligan our opening hand. So that's fine. Don't need to change too much there other than adding the black market, which I just really like if I'm playing black-white control, which is typically slow and involves a lot of creatures dying. I think I also wanted to see an additional board wipe in the deck, because we wanted a board wipe for quite a while in this game. And even after drawing quite a few cards, we just didn't have answers for the things on board, so that was a little scary. And we're actually down a card. That's cool. Yeah, I would add another board wipe in here. I'd probably go for Fumigate. I'd say Fumigate or Rout are probably your best bets. Rout is nice because it can be instant speed. Fumigate for the life gain. Life gain is cool. Got a Kambal in here. Kambal is nice. Oh, one more thing too. So we never actually got to cast Teysa this game, and that's because we didn't ramp very good early on. So another thing that I would probably add, and it depends on what your budget is, either Mana Vault or Basalt Monolith. We'll say Basalt Monolith for now just because it's the cheaper of the two. But even something like this is really good when your commander costs 7. Sure, you only use it one time. Actually, you can use Dark Ritual also. But still, your commander is very impactful. No one wants to attack you once your commander's in play. And this is just going to help you get to that big 7 mana play nice and quick. If you can get your commander on like turn 5, that's pretty cool. And or if you just need it late in the game, 7 mana is so much. So yeah, for 7 mana commanders, I like to add Basalt Monolith or Mana Vault or both. Or in this case, you could actually use Dark Ritual, which way cheaper than Mana Vault. So, any of those kind of burst mana type effects going to be pretty good for getting your commander in. But it also depends on maybe you don't want your commander that early if you're just planning to wipe the board anyway. That's kind of the question. But, weird things can happen in games and sometimes you just want your commander. So a thing that you could look at, because you've got Burnish Chart, you could look at an Ameria Shepherd if you wanted a better way to get your stuff back. Yeah, like you've got Obsidat's Aid. I would go Ameria Shepherd over the Obsidat's Aid, honestly. It's a little bit more of a combo. Like Obsidat's Aid is just like I play it one time and now I have it. But, you know what's kind of cool? You could think about doing this. I would alter the deck if I were going to do it, but you could add Retreat to Ameria and whatever the new one's called. There's a new one that makes 2/2s, does essentially the same thing. You could add those in the deck just as a way to have some blockers. Like you just drop that enchantment down nice and early, and as you keep playing lands, that'll keep making fodder for you, which is really nice. But yeah, I'd probably add an Emaria Shepherd. Gives you the ability to get stuff back. That's always cool. You do need plains, but even if you just have swamps, swamps will at least put things back in your hand, so that's good too. I'm going to cut this Bloodgift Demon. I like Bloodgift Demon. I think it's a cool card. I think it's cool art. I've used it for a long time, but it tends to come down at this point in the game where it gets shot a lot. Like, it just doesn't survive at the rate that I really want it to survive at. And being that this is more of a control-y, we're not putting tons of creatures into play type of thing, you know, it just doesn't do all the things that I want it to do, I find, because it just has such a short lifespan. So it doesn't stay in play. It's not really an ETB. I'd probably cut that one, honestly. Other than that, I think that's about it. I think I feel pretty good about what we've done right there. Got a bunch of big spells up here at the top to kind of close it out. You do have a Godless Shrine in the deck. No Scrubland. Probably spice up the mana base just a little bit more. That is a lot of basic lands. Probably start with a command tower. Those are usually pretty easy to run into. Get ourselves a command tower. What are the other black and white lands now that aren't $1 million? We've got Isolated Chapel. We've got the Basilica. Fetid Heath was in Double Masters. It's only about $5, so that seems very reasonable to me. Drop in a Fetid Heath. We get the Temple too. Temples are pretty cheap. Temple of Silence. So yeah, I would add just a couple more multicolor lands to the deck, especially when you're talking about things like Necropotence, which is pretty tough to cast. Urborg obviously makes the deck a lot better, or at least makes the mana a lot better, but those aren't so cheap. I'm seeing about 30 on Urborg, so yeah, that's a pretty big investment for, like, not a card that you see all the time in your deck. So, you know, if you have the money, sure, go out, buy an Urborg, but money is tight for many people, so yeah. Yeah, okay, I think I feel pretty good about that. So we've added a board wipe. We've changed the ramp just a little bit. We've added Black Market, which can give you a ton of mana, and I think that's a pretty big deal. I also wouldn't say no to, what's the one that makes treasures? I'd probably add that one in, too, if you really wanted. Both of those can be pretty good. You can mess around with the Emaria Shepherd slot. It's just a card that I like. You've got the Burnished Heart. Gives you a way to get some stuff back in case it goes down, but this slot could certainly be a lot of things. I don't think Limb Duel is doing quite enough in this deck in its current setup, especially just the mana. The mana that Limb Duel takes is so challenging. Obviously, you could just drop like a Shieldred or an Elish Norn in that spot instead. Going to be pretty good. If aggro is a problem, Angelic Arbiter. If value and lots of spells per turn is a problem, Chancellor of the Annex is pretty cool. Opponents have to pay an additional 1 to cast their spells, otherwise they get countered, so that's very nice. So yeah, there's a lot of things that this 7 slot could be. It just depends on what you're looking for exactly. But yeah, other than that, pretty cool. Black-white value, black-white control. A little sad that we didn't actually get to cast our commander. I think some of those changes to the mana base and or mulliganing to a faster hand would have helped with that. But also, on the other hand, creatures could not survive in this game. Like you saw, that we just didn't want to play creatures because way too much creature removal happening when your commander costs 7. That's not a thing that you want. So, yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, in addition to my TCG affiliate player link, I now have an affiliate link with Flipside Gaming, an LGS from my hometown. You can use the promo code REPLAY to save 10% on your next order over $10. Both affiliate links are in the description below. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Also, the 2020 GoFundMe is still active. Link for that is also in the description below.